Hi Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps and I have another project to share with you. This one is going to feature the Sea of Texture stamp set, which I'm using for Stamps in the Mail Club this month. And I have a couple tricks and tips to share with you that feature the coordinating under the sea framelits. So you don't need these to do your Stamps in the Mail Club kit because everything comes pre-cut and embossed and die cut for you. But if you want to make more of your projects at home, you're going to want to add that to your kit. So here is our card, and the cool thing that I'm going to show you here is this featured textured background, which actually is the same die that's used to cut this net, this coral net piece here. So the embossing mats are new as of this past summer, and you are going to love the flexibility that they give to all of your dies, whether they're cutting dies or embossing dies or whatever. So let me give you some tips and tricks, including multi-purpose liquid adhesive for adding your sprinkles and how to layer all these fun pieces. So grab your Stamps and Mail Club kit and let's get stamping. All right, so we have our pieces and I'm going to actually set them all aside and pull out a fresh piece of cardstock. So when you get your Stamps and Mail Club kit, this will already be done for you, but I wanted to show you how to use the Big Shot embossing mats to add that fun texture. So when you order these embossing mats, there's actually 3 things in the package. There is a stiff piece of white plastic, there is a really thin rubber blue mat, and there's a thicker gray mat. And on this direction, so the reason I haven't tossed these is that there are excellent directions here for how to use your pads. So if I want to make a standard sandwich with these, there's directions here. If I want to cut and emboss at the same time, I'm going to do that. But I'm actually going to do an emboss only sandwich because the dies in Under the Sea for this netting, this coral, this is a cutting die. And so normally if I put it through the Big Shot, it's just going to cut all those pieces out and make this shape. But I want it to make this fun embossed background. So let's see how this works. I'm going to grab this die here from my set. I'm going to, looking at my directions, take just the blue and the white mat and set that thicker gray one aside, and then pull here my Big Shot in. And I am also going to need, which comes with your Big Shot, I'm going to need the Big Shot platform, and then I'm going to, it comes with a thin die adapter. I'm going to look at that direction sheet here. Oh, no thin die adapter, so I'm going to take that and set that aside. Now if you have an older Big Shot with the tabs, basically you're going to open all the tabs so that this is as thin as possible. Okay. All right, so next thing, what I'm going to do is follow my directions in my sandwich. I'm going to put my regular cutting die here on the bottom. I'm going to put my die here and I'm going to put it cutting side up. I'm going to add my cardstock on top of that, just like this. Then I am going to layer on my blue silicone mat, and I've got this kind of on the corner because I want it to do the corner there. Just cover it up. And then I am going to add my clear, or my embossing plate that came with the embossing mat set. And I'm going to take that and I am going to run that through my Big Shot. And it doesn't feel particularly tight. This one is pretty loose. And then when I pull this apart on the other side, I have my embossed background. See how that works? So there's some places where it might be a little thicker, but it's not cut through. It's just embossed nicely. So anyway, that's how you want to use those embossing mats. And if you haven't added those to your stamping collection yet, they're great because they pretty much turn everything in your die library into an embossing set. So I just can't say enough about how excited I am on those. Lots of cool techniques in playing with those. So let's pull our pieces back in here and I will show you some tips for assembling these. So we have our octopus here, which is going to get stamped in our background. Now you can go ahead and glue this flat, but I honestly like to go ahead and pop that up. And I find that the quickest way to pop up a whole sheet is to go ahead and use large sections of my background pieces here from my dimensional. So I kind of save my edge pieces. Sometimes I have a whole sheet that's empty except for the edges, and I will keep kind of a pile of those for when I have a project that I want to be popped up. So we're going to pop those up and stick those on. But before I stick them on, I actually want to get my edge pieces here. So this is a great way to use up those tiny little scraps of designer series paper that are still beautiful, but don't exactly have the pieces that you want available for larger projects. So what I'm going to do, this is going to layer here on top. I'm actually going to grab another strip of my edges here on my dimensional. Make sure you don't cut it bigger. Oops. I'll just tear a piece off. Make sure you don't cut it bigger than the width of that circle there, the diameter of the circle. And I'm going to go ahead and arrange these, and you can do, you know, there's a variety of papers in your packet, and that's one of the great things about having a set of designer series papers that kind of all coordinate, because you can do lots of mixing and matching with them. So I'm going to kind of put those pieces across there and make sure none of them are really straight, but some of them are going different directions. And then I'm going to stick them down with my dimensional, okay? So I've got a really easy way to attach these. When I peel that backing off, I can pop that green circle there on the center, and then since I haven't attached these yet, I can go ahead, and I like to look from the back side because it's so easy to trim those edges, just like that, okay? All right, so we have our card base done. The next step is going to be to attach this, but in order to do that easily, I actually want to stamp my octopus first. So I'm going to grab my Fresh Big ink pad, and you get your Stampin' Spots with your Stamps in the Mail Club kit, but you can upgrade to full-size ink pads, and of course the new ink pads are available and fabulous. So I will show you one of those here shortly too. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. Now when I stamp on a die cut, I like to do it upside down. So ink it up, tap, 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 and then go ahead and flip your inked stamp over. And then just go ahead and put your die cut shape down, and then use another Stampin' block, usually the same size, but that worked fine too, to go ahead and press that down so that you get a really nice ink transfer. All right, so since I haven't attached that, I'm gonna make this loose. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my octopus here to give me an idea of where I should put my dimensionals. So, or you could even just pop a dimensional on the back of him and use that to stick down. So I know that my dimensionals will be hidden if I go ahead and pop them on there. Does that make sense? So now my net is stuck down, my octopus is stuck down, and I have some extra pieces to add here. So this one's big enough that, I think, is it? Yep, that I can pop a real dimensional on the back there. And I'm going to take this and tuck it underneath here. Maybe I'll put it on top there to hide like one little spot that I didn't get ink transferred. So I'm gonna cover that up. Now no one will know, right? It's all about the recovery. And then I'm going to take my mini Stampin' Dimensional to put on the back of this little sweet sand dollar. And then this little sand dollar is going to layer here on top. Okay, so I have my sand dollar. I have my greeting that I am going to stamp, and let's see, I'm going to pull my Tranquil Tide pad in here and grab this. And you can do have a wonderful adventure, you can do thanks for reaching out, whatever makes you happy. So, or you could pull something from a whole other stamp set and you could stamp happy birthday on there, whatever works best for you. Of course, because this is your project. I'm going to stamp have a wonderful adventure. I'm going to use my paper snips, best scissors for all my favorite paper trimming and detail work. And then I'm going to put another Stampin' Dimensional on the back here. So the next piece though is adding those fun sprinkles. So this is a lesson you're definitely going to want to have. And to do the sprinkles, I find it easiest to grab an empty Stampin' case. These are available through my online store. They're in the Stampin' Up catalog if you haven't ever noticed them. And or you could, you know, just empty out what's in here and use the one that goes with your stamp set. It's kind of nice to have one handy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, okay, and this is like my collapsible tray, and then I'm going to grab my liquid glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue. And in case you're wondering why I have this cute little shot glass here from Marseille, it's because Stampin' Up sent me to Marseille last year on our incentive trip. So 2 years ago. 2 years ago. This was pretty fabulous. But this is how I store my liquid glue, like this, so that then the glue is all the way down into the tip when I want to use it, and it's all ready to use. So I'm going to look at where I want some beads to go, some sprinkles, and I'm just going to dab some glue on there, and I'll show you here real close up so you can for sure see. And I'm going to pick 3 spots and then stick that back in my cup so it's ready for next time. And you can see kind of how much glue I've got in there. It's globbed on a little bit, but not super a lot. So I can see it, that's it. And then I'm going to take the lid off my sprinkles. These are the Tranquil Texture sprinkles, and they're part of Stamps and Mail Club this month. And I'm going to dump them onto my card. Now see how the extras all get trapped in that case, so it makes my cleanup a little easier. I'm going to just press into the glue a tiny bit, and then I'm going to shake the extras back into the tray. Okay. And more, you gotta tilt it a little bit, different directions. More of them may stick. If you're super globby with your glue, you may find that you get sprinkles that are kind of stuck together in clumps. That's fine. I usually just kind of tap them back there in the glue to make sure that they're committed to staying on my card. Okay, so that seems pretty good there. If you tap too hard, they're gonna come off because that glue isn't like, it doesn't have like super instant bond. So, all right, and then I can take this and drop those sprinkles back into my container, and we have just a really easy cleanup. If you have any stray, go ahead and pick those up just on your fingers, or woohoo, the new Take Pick tool will be in the holiday catalog, and it's like a hands down, well, I mean, you put it in your hand. So anyway, it's a no-brainer. It's something everyone's going to need to have. So watch for that September 5th. All right, so then I'm going to take that, attach it to my card with those Stampin' Dimensionals, and there we have a really fun and really cool card with that embossed background that echoes this net here that's behind our octopus. So this is a great way to use your Sea of Texture stamp set. If you haven't requested your Stamps in the Mail Club, complete with directions and the 4 included project kits, you will want to do that. I only have a couple left right now. Otherwise, you can visit my online store to order any of the supplies you see in my videos. And make sure you click that little bell if you're following me on YouTube so that you get notified when I post videos. If you don't click that bell, you won't get to hear when I post new things. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and happy stamping.